Welcome to the Chamber of the Scribe podcast, the educational and encouragement epicenter for embracing the calling, purpose, and function of the present-day prophetic scribe and artisan, with your host, Teresa Harbert Johnson.
Welcome home, prophetic scribes. I am so glad that you are joining me today. I want to remind you to go and grab a hot cup of coffee or your favorite tea. Grab hold of that good friend and sit down with me inside the chamber of the scribe as we talk about overcoming invisibility in your scribal calling. If you are like many prophetic scribes, then you have already experienced invisibility in your life. Maybe you're feeling invisible right now, or you're just coming out of it. Or maybe you can relate to this story because you've been there. But one point that I want to make very clear is that most prophetic scribes will experience this place of invisibility at some point in their journey. But the good news is many of us will overcome. Invisibility is that place of being unseen and unheard and even not taken seriously by those around you. And we all know that invisibility can be detrimental to our growth, to our spiritual development, to our ability to walk out our calling. So it's definitely an area that we need to talk about and one that we need to overcome. But for the sake of our discussion today, we're going to define invisibility as the state of not being seen, noticed, or made visible to those around us. And we're also acknowledging that because of that, we sometimes walk through life like a wallflower in a room, or that invisible guest at a party with popular people. It's that nobody or that insignificant syndrome that can sometimes come upon us. And we feel like there's a veil that makes us invisible. People can see everyone else around us, but they may not see us. So that's the perspective we're coming from within this conversation. And in our faith, invisibility can be positive or negative. But it is never all positive in our conversations, and it's rarely all negative in our conversations, meaning there are two ways we can look at this, because sometimes being invisible can be extremely strategic in positive contexts, and it can also be extremely defeating in negative contexts. So I also want you to know that invisibility has three sides that we can look at, as I see it, as it relates to being a prophetic scribe. One of those is that we can see invisibility as that place of being invisible because we are hidden by the Lord until our time of revealing is before us. So we understand that that's one way we can look at it. The second way is that we can look at invisibility as the result of being abused, devalued, willfully ignored, or pressed into the background in different stages or at different phases of our lives. And the third way we can look at invisibility is seeing it as the kind of invisibility that comes when we choose the background based on a false belief system that may be knowingly or unknowingly operating in our hearts and in our minds. And it's this third way that we're going to focus on today. I believe the other two are quite common, but the third one, I don't know, at least in my experiences of walking out these things with prophetic scribes that I've mentored over the years and things that I've observed in my own life, I don't believe that we often see how we contribute sometimes to our own invisibility. So I want to talk about that a little bit today. Now, we're going to refer to it as self-inflicted visibility. I know that sounds like a crazy term, but I believe it's one that is very relevant to this conversation. And we need to be cautious of it, particularly because we are prophetic people. And we believe when we say we're prophetic that we're literally being led of the Lord. So, again, based on mentoring others, I have come to see this as a necessary type of term to bring us into understanding of what I believe is a critical part of invisibility in the lives of some people. I am desperate, and I mean desperate, to see prophetic scribes overcome self inflicted negative invisibility. This third type is one that we can easily miss. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to look at some of the things surrounding it and see if we can awaken ourselves to the point of healing. Oh my goodness. I want you to see self inflicted invisibility as invisible.